Excuse me. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. So EU is finally doing the thing. It looks like, wow, I mean, it's still a little early to tell, but it does definitely look like we're going to see what we've finally been waiting to see. It's not confirmed yet, but we've got a lot of the areas sort of ticked off that we were hoping to see, and yeah, it's nice to see things play out finally. So, I mean, short and sweet. Right now, ideally, we want to see this structural level go. Right now, there's ways that we can get involved. Now, it's not that it's higher risk. It's just you need to understand that we could technically punch in a new leg from here. You can definitely look for longs. However, obviously, given the fact that we've tapped into the supply, we've had just a slowdown in price. You can just see just the nature of the market, right? Just the nature of how things are developing. We have no aggression left. It looks like the aggression is trying to make its way back down to the other side. So as it stands right now, I'll tell you something right now. I am waiting for higher time frame sells. That's the only thing I'm really interested in. Now, what I would like to see is the swing structure let go, which would be right in this level right here. So once this goes, more than likely what we're going to end up seeing is some form of a reaction to something in the lows here. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, do not discredit the idea of taking longs if they do set up here. Now, this should be a very good indication. This should be a very good indication as to what price is really trying to do. If you do want to take longs, I would suggest to proceed with caution and have very realistic targets. I would be taking good chunks of profits off if and when they line up at, let me just draw this in so that we can see it a little bit better. Let's try this guy. Oh God, so cringy. There we go. So if and when we come into, this sort of region, all the stars align, just look at the flow, right? Like you can see, obviously we're in a pullback phase, but like make sure that you're seeing confirmations. If you do, that's fine. Target reasonable areas, start targeting the areas that you think we're going to have a hard time breaking, right? And like this shouldn't be a surprise. Like I said, we've done everything that we ideally want to do. So if this was a 1 minute sort of schematic that we were looking at, and we saw the initial drive into a 1 minute refined POY, we have inducement, we come back up, and then we start tapering down, we would be looking to trade at this flip, right? So obviously with our modeling system, ideally we want to see swing structure let go before we can actually start looking for trades. So right now, as it stands, can you look for longs? Technically, our plan will provide criteria to be able to get into the longs. With something like this, and again, just the nature of how this is sort of built and how extended we are in price, the cool down, all of these different confluences that we've sort of built around really like the last 2 weeks of price, everything is starting to play out in terms of what we're expecting maybe from a higher time frame, which is at least a pullback into that unmitigated daily demand that sits down to the left hand side. Yeah, so right now, I mean, in short, longs are technically valid from this level. This is a swing point, right? Well, it's kind of like it's a 15-minute swing point. It would be a 4-hour internal area. But yeah, 15-hour swing, 15-hour swing. This is their previous swing and swing. So, we could see something down in here, but ultimately, as soon as this breaks, yeah, it's really simple. As soon as this breaks, the theory is that like this is not going to hold, right? Like we're expecting, and so let's just go to the 4 hours so that you can get just a clearer picture of what I'm talking. I'll go to a 2 hour. Okay, so we're coming into this level right here. You know, ultimately, if this starts to break down, it becomes very apparent where the market wants to go, right? So you can see where was the most recent break of structure. It's right here. We have a supply zone just resting above. The absolute bare minimum that the market is going to want to pull back to is going to be at least to this region. So letting yourself set up for some sort of a higher time frame sell, you don't need to be the first one. You need to get your confirmations, right? And that's like, I'm sure most of you guys know this by now. Most of you guys are almost 90 days in with me. You don't have to take the first setup. You got to take the one that fits the plan the best, right? There's going to be all kinds of setups in here. There's all kinds of ways to probably have already gotten in, depending on how you sort of maneuver within your trend, internal structure, whether or not structure has aligned for you. But yeah, just be mindful of the fact, like I said, that technically the most reasonable areas to sort of start getting involved in any kind of sells is going to be when we can confirm that this will let go, it comes up, and then we see some sort of a change of character signaling that this should be a weak low. Does that make sense, guys? Because we won't know that this low is going to be weak whenever it gets punched in until we see a pullback that meets our criteria. And I would be using this as a structural point, because this is this is going to be internal structure. And if it starts matching internal structure, don't worry about, like, look at supply. You know what I mean? Supply is not one of these candles, and don't worry about all these mitigations. As long as we have a form of liquidity to take into a structural level that created supply at one point, the idea is that if we come down, we sweep and then come back down, this in theory should be a weak low. So take your chances and put yourself in a very optimistic setting if and when criteria presents itself. And we already know what that is going to look like, but the first piece of this equation, the first piece of the puzzle as it stands right now, is that this needs to go before we technically look for sells. And yes, it sometimes means that we are going to be late to the party, but you are much better to be late to the party and trade with the flow of money than try to guess here, then try to guess here, then try to guess here, here. Wait for swing structure to go. There was no swing structure that went. This was the first confirmation that order flow had shifted. We had matched the low. We thought in theory that this low should technically be weak, but you can see what ends up happening, right? Higher time frame wants to pull up. Why? Because it wants to sweep the zone. So just remember, these confirmations that we teach and that we talk about almost on a daily at this point, they're not for no reason. It's designed to keep you in control of your emotions while trading a very, very systematic and objective system. So again, recap last time, it is so much easier to start pushing a car once it's already moving. Like, you don't want to be the first guy pushing the car. We don't have the bags to do that. We don't have the muscles to be able to do that, right? But as soon as the car is moving, the 4 people that got it started, it's really simple. One guy can take over, right? And that's kind of what we are, is that one guy. So once criteria starts, have a level of liquidity to take, have inducement for the people going long, and trade the fuck out of this into weak lows. Doesn't get any easier than that. Wait for your confirmations, guys. Don't rush into setups. Monitor the news over the next couple days. I don't even know if there's news events. I won't be trading for the next 2 days anyways, unless something like right now, the only thing that I'm doing is setting up an alert right here. That alert. Okay. And I'm walking away. Okay. So I'm literally going like this, and I'm saying 15-minute swing low. Save. When the 15-minute swing low goes, we can start looking. Until then, you can look for longs. I'm not going to be monitoring for longs today just because I don't have the bandwidth to do that. We're going to be traveling shortly. So yeah, the only time I'm getting involved is for higher time frame sells that could potentially deliver. Let me just show you, just so that you can understand how powerful utilizing that higher time frame really is. Let's go like this. So that's your demand. So if and when, like, let's say we have a pullback phase that comes into in and around where price is right now. Yeah, that's an ADR move. 1.5, even with a 2 pip stop spreads and everything, like that's a 60R move that you can hold full volume without even remotely having to worry about it, right? So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for the next couple of days. It's just how to get into this. And I honestly think we're going to come down lower, to be honest, but we're going to look to just target where the next reaction would come from, because you don't want to hold this. You don't want to have worked for all of this stuff right here. You don't want to have to wait, get the trade of your fucking life just to see it come back and then sweep you out and then come back down. Target liquidity and target the next area where you're expecting to see the next trade sort of formulate from. That's it for today, guys. As most of you guys know, today's a travel day for me. I'm going to be heading 5 hours south to go to Toronto. I will not be super active in the Discord over the course of the next 2 days. We will make up for it towards the end of the week. The revised schedule is in the announcements channel, so there will not be a trade recap that's going to be live for the community. I will be recording one once I land in Toronto for anything that did set up for us, throughout the session today, if there was anything at all. And yeah, tomorrow, no pre-New York narrative in the morning. I will be recording it later tonight after the concert. So if I have a raspy voice from yelling, you'll know why in the recording, but all you London guys will be able to get a little bit of an idea of what I'm looking forward to, obviously before the New York session. And then the trade recap will be postponed as well trade recap we will be doing around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So anyways, any updates will happen throughout the next couple of days. I will be posting them in the announcements channels. Bear with me. This is pretty well the only thing we're doing all summer. So anyways, have a good rest of your day, guys. Trade safe, trade within the rules. Like I said, we only look for longs up until we see something substantial break to get us into a pro trend state. And if you don't want to take longs whatsoever and you just want to assume that we're going to break through from here, that's fine. But do not discredit the idea of longs and trading these into supply levels that have been created due to the fact that we've liquidated highs and order flow has shifted. Have a good day, guys. I will see you guys a little bit later on.